Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is Friday, August 28th, 2026. It's a whole lot of Torah with a whole lot of good people. It's beautiful to see all of you. I hope that you and yours are safe and well. So much to share. Thank you, Penny. It's broadcast 1623. Good to see you here. And Jonathan, Susie, and Linda, Boker Tov friends. Good to see you. Hi, Michael. Hope that you're well. Let's see who else is here. We're going to get started in a second with a bracha and then learn some Torah. Alan, nice to see you. John, George, Scott. Hi, everybody. All right. Let's get ready to sing a bracha. Judy and Jack. Haley, nice to see you. All right, here we go. Cecile and Lydia, Cheryl, good morning. Linda, it is your 49th wedding anniversary today. Mazal Tov. Today's Torah is for you guys. Mazel Tov. Many more years of joy, health, togetherness. Patricia, Patty, nice to see you. Cynthia and Kim, Boker Tov, Arlene, Siona, Diane and Barry, Marcia, nice to see you. Okay. Barbara, nice to see you. Hi, Natalie. Deborah, good to see you. All right, everybody. It's good to see you. A little bit of Torah for today. It's Parshat Ki Tavo. We're nearing the end of the book of Deuteronomy, which tells you that Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are coming soon. It's 2 weeks until Rosh Hashanah somehow. And when we read these Torah portions that we always read as Rosh Hashanah comes close, it's important to recognize the ups and the downs of each of them. This Torah portion, Ki Tavo, begins on a powerful and positive note. When you arrive, you will have enough to bring your first fruits, recite a blessing, tell our history, tell our story. It is a transitional moment, a liminal space between being the desert generation and being the first to enter in to the land of Israel, the promised land. I wanted to share a reflection from a teacher of mine, Professor Alice Shalvi, of blessed memory. She was a leading Israeli thinker, Jewish educator par excellence. She was very involved in Machon Shechter, where I studied in rabbinical school when I was in Israel, and changed the world for the better in many ways. A traditional Jewish feminist in Israel who did so much for education in general. She points out something that I think we know, that the book of Deuteronomy is a reprise. It is a repeat of the story that we have read since the book of Exodus. Moses, Moshe Rabbeinu, is telling his story, which is also our story. His life's story traverses the same period of time that our national identity does. And he's been the one leading us the entire time. In fact, He's the last of his generation to share this with us because he's the last one left. He's the last survivor of that generation. And here he is telling us the story again, reminding us about the covenant and the importance of remembering our history. And then it goes into a section that is very complicated. This section is a warning about what will happen to us if we don't listen. Because, now this is Alice Shalvi's language, because being the favored of God, complicated phrase of course, entails duties and responsibilities. Failure to observe is to be cursed. Obedience brings blessings, prosperity, fruitfulness. In order to understand that we want to be seen as, this is a quote, the head, not the tail, which is in this week's Torah portion, and that's actually a blessing that many of us offer on Rosh Hashanah, that it should be, we should be the head and not the tail, is part of us remembering the God forbids that could happen if we do not conduct ourselves well. Listen to this language here. The detailed, terrifyingly graphic list of horrors that will be heaped upon the people if they fail to abide by God's laws ends with perhaps the direst of warnings. This is Professor Shalvi's language. To be scattered among all the peoples from one end of the earth to the other. That's the worst. The worst is to lose our home and be all scattered. The message of Parshat Ki Tavo, she writes, applies to us even now, whether we live in Israel or in the diaspora. To justify Israel's existence as a Jewish state and homeland, it must forever strive to be a light unto the nations and not a state like any other. As a people, wherever we are, we have a remarkable and noble mission to fulfill God's precepts, whether they deal with ourselves and our relationship to the divine, or more concretely, she writes, with our relationships with our fellow human beings, all of whom have been created in the divine image. I take this so seriously, and she taught us such important language to consider during these specific days. On the Jewish calendar, we are in the final lead up to Rosh Hashanah. What kind of a year do we want it to be? And not from some external gift of that kind of a year. Our blessing is the responsibility to be able to determine some of what this year will look like. How will we not excuse behavior just because, only human? Our own. How will we take responsibility for charting a course into the next year that leads us to be more mindful about our interactions with our fellow human beings? On a national level, and this is both true about the state of Israel and Jews everywhere we are, we don't want to be just like everyone else. We want to be present as a light. Now, every group, every people should consider themselves burdened with that glorious purpose, to borrow a phrase from the Loki character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But the glorious purpose of being a Jew is to be a source of light. So much of these last years have found us defending ourselves, circling the wagons. And we need to. I wouldn't want to be naive about such important things. Recent attacks in New York City tell us that this is here and this is there. But alongside that protective impulse, the self-defense, the save our own lives, the pikuach nefesh of Am Yisrael, is the call from this week's Parsha amplified by Professor Shalvi, which is we are called to do better than that. We never wanted to be a state just like all other states. We were called to be the state that is the manifestation of Jewish destiny, Jewish peoplehood, Jewish values. This is complicated when it comes to any interpersonal action. You don't need to amplify that to a national level to know how difficult that can be. But I want to read Professor Shalvi's last sentence one more time. Because as we transition from this month to the month of Tishrei, from leading up to Rosh Hashanah itself, that in-betweenness, it's mirrored on a physical level in this liminal space, being told by Moshe Rabbeinu on his last days how we must remember our story, how we must hold ourselves responsible, because there will be consequences for whatever we do next. We have more agency, more capacity to make decisions when we cross into the land and grasp our destiny. Listen to Professor Shalvi's language, and with this I'll leave us as we get ready for Shabbos. As a people, wherever we are, we have a remarkable and noble mission to fulfill God's precepts, whether they deal with ourselves and our relationship to the divine, or, more concretely, with our relationships with our fellow human beings, all of whom have been created in the divine image. Let's take that very seriously. The divine image is not an exclusive Jewish truth. That's one of the most radical claims we make as a people. The Torah makes it in its inception moment. God is concerned with all people, and every human being is created in God's image. And therefore, accountability is universal too. They must be held accountable. We must be held accountable. And when I conduct myself in the world, I cannot say to myself, we, my family, deserves more dignity than theirs. I deserve more dignity than you. No more ignorant statement could ever be made in Jewish terms. To be a light is to make sure that you can see what's right in front of you. If you are a source of light, you won't miss what's right in front of you. May we be so blessed to see what's right in front of us. Let's take a breath. Send our hearts to the east. Let's sing. Kol hod maleva penima nefesh Yehudi homiya ulefate mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia od lo avda tikvateinu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון Virushalayim. Am Yisrael Chai. Shabbat Shalom, friends. See you on Monday.